I'm Craig Everett and I'm an artist from Bradford, Northern England. I was born just down the road from here in Thorpe, which is a council estate. Just had a normal working class background. David Hockney were a big influence when I was growing up as like a kid drawing or whatever, because he come from the same sort of background. Everything that I like is an influence to me. I didn't like school a lot. I left school with no qualifications. When I went to college, it was 1986, so they'd just arrived the Apple Mac, and I saw a Mac for the first time. It was just sort of like unbelievable what it could do. Now I'll sort of do a composition in Photoshop. So like I'll bring a street, you know, if I want a street scene in, I'll get some old sort of tourist houses and bring that in, then I'll get a subject and bring that in, or maybe do a sketch and then pull that in. So you're actually building the composition up in Photoshop, then printing it out and copying it. And that's what I do, and then bring the colour in and everything else like that as I'm doing it. So that's basically, by using that for a long time, you know, Photoshop and a Mac, it sort of brings you out, if you know what I mean. So I always that's a important part of, it's an important tool to me. And I think that if like Rembrandt and that were alive, they'd be using that as well. You know, sometimes you can spoil them and then end up painting over them or painting over a bit of them and then bringing them back, and they always look better. It's a good thing to destroy something. You know what I mean? It's a good process. Well, I've sort of drawn like a scruffy little street urchin for years. Do you know what I mean? So like, I did a picture in 2008 called Scallywag, who were like somebody, sort of like in the same setting of this, he were like in an alley, in a tourist street alley, with a spray can and an Adidas top. So you both elements that time were like, you know, branding were just sort of, well, coming in sort of like mid-80s. Do you know what I mean? People were wearing Adidas trainers and Puma, so I thought that's an important time for culture, because everybody just wants brands now. But, you know, like it were only just coming in sort of like about 84, 80, 85. So that he's got an Adidas top on and stuff like that. So I try and sort of bring out my past in the picture. So that wasn't one at first, Scallywags, but I did do them before that. If somebody did a fairy, you wouldn't think it to be like the fairies that I were doing. So I wanted to do like we're taking a subject that were really a bit cheesy and then turning it into something that's cool. And I like to do that and play around with that all the time. And that's probably what it's all, you know, my art's all about, because it's just to be different. So it's doing like a scene, but having a little bit of a twist or something that just is just a modern thing for people to get and think, oh, that's cool. Even when I first started painting, I was trying to be different, not same as anybody else. So my style now sort of been developed over the last 10 years, and it's just lines. It ain't complicated what I do. It ain't complicated my art to understand, because I are a complicated person. So I think that comes across, because all I'll use is stuff that's influenced me, which is more or less like any, normal people.